Hey everybody, welcome. This is Q&A with Coach MJ number 34. Thank you so much for watching, sharing this with your friends, and submitting your questions because I'm here to help you be a better athlete. First question this week. I think the questions this week are great, by the way. What is the difference between regular running shoes and trail running shoes, from Amber? And Amber, that's a great question. There's a few different things. And I brought some shoes here. Oh, there's rocks coming out of my trail shoes. So a lot of trail shoes will have a Gore-Tex material, which is water resistant, not waterproof, guys. You can't just go in a deep puddle and expect your feet are going to stay dry. They're water resistant. They have a deeper tread on the bottom. So this is a regular running shoe. This is a trail running shoe. You can see that the tread on this one's a little thicker. Then think the shoe's a little more worn out too, but to help you grip on different surfaces. The other thing that trail shoes will have, some of them will have, is that the tongue will be attached to the rest of the shoe to prevent any rocks or twigs or anything to get inside the shoe. So that's pretty much the difference. Now, when you talk about, say, a trail that's a crushed limestone trail, these shoes aren't going to make any difference for you. So you can use regular running shoes. The trails that these are made for, we don't really have a whole lot here in the Midwest, but the closest thing I would say would be any of the single track that you can find in Payless. So it will help you grip onto the surface a little bit better. So that's a great question. And number 2 from Kevin. Why don't higher average watts translate into more miles in an hour-long CT class? CT meaning CompuTrainer class. Great question, Kevin. I know we talked about this a little bit earlier this week. The thing is that the CompuTrainer is designed to put an amount of pressure on your wheel that's going to give you the designated amount of watts that we want. So it depends on what gear you're in. So if you put it into a harder gear, you're going to looks like you're going a faster miles per hour. Put it into an easier gear, you look like you're going a lower miles per hour. And again, I caution, it does not translate into outside. Just because someone will put in more miles in a particular ride on a CT doesn't mean that outside would be the same thing. You have to take into the weight, power to weight ratio, and what gear you're in. The reason we have you go into 53-19, which is the big gear in front and 19 in the back, and that just means the number of teeth on the cog, guys. It's not that complicated. Is the gear that most likely simulates a flat road, which is kind of what we want in a CompuTrainer. The way we simulate hills in a CompuTrainer is not through shifting in most cases. It is through increased pressure on the wheel. So great question, Kevin. I hope that helps. But in your CT classes, your target, your goal for those classes shouldn't be how far am I going in class. Just want to do that, crank it up to the highest gear and you'll go further. The goal should be highest average watts that you can maintain. I mean, well, depends on the particular class that you're doing, but that's really the power to weight ratio, and the higher average watts is really kind of more indicative of a stronger rider or a better ride per person. So great question. And then the last question is from Mike. How do you prevent chafing? As I go longer distances, I'm starting to get chafed. And Mike, there's two kinds of people. Those that have chafed and those that will chafe. Everybody, it's going to happen. And you're right. Sometimes you don't find that out until you're going the longer distances. But there are a few things too. It depends on what you wear, because some things that you can wear are not going to chafe and some things that you wear are going to chafe. And I have this really quick example. I did a half marathon. I was very new. I was very, very new at running, and thought I was being all cute. And I bought this new pair of shorts at the expo. And I wore them for the half marathon the next day. And I think it was my second half marathon or something like that. Remember, I always say, never try anything new on race day. So I wore these shorts, and by mile 2, there was a flap, like a seam inside the shorts that just kept rubbing the inside of my thigh. And I just kept tugging on the shorts and tugging on the shorts, trying to get it away, because by mile 2 it was already irritating me. My training partner's like, "What is wrong with you? We just got started. You shouldn't be tired yet." I'm like, "I'm not tired. I'm chafing, and these shorts they're terrible." Well, every aid station I went, no one had any Vaseline. That's one thing you can use to prevent chafing, though I wouldn't recommend it because it stains clothes and ruins them. Nobody had anything. So I end up running that entire half marathon. It was bleeding by the end of the race. It was a horrible experience, one that I will never do again. But I do have some things. The most common thing I think for runners is going to be Body Glide. You just put it on just like a deodorant, just rub it anywhere. So there's that. There's also, oops, sorry, I hit the camera. There's also Aquaphor. And what I really like about these little tubes, and Mike, I'll actually send you a few. What I really like about these is they're tiny enough to tuck into a running pocket, especially like on a long, like a 20 miler or an Ironman. When you put the stuff on, you know, you put your chafing, anti-chafing material on, but it's either really hot or it's really long, or you're dumping water over yourself and it wears off. I can still apply this during the run. It's not going to affect anything, so it's great. So there's that. And the other cool thing about Aquaphor in particular is that it helps heal chafing. Okay, so there's your key. This one will prevent chafing, but also once you get chafed, to get it to go away faster, you put this on. Okay, the other thing I will tell you is put this on or Vaseline on top of any chafing marks before you get in the shower, because anybody who's ever run a long distance and got chafed really bad and got in the shower, it stings. You can hear the screams for miles. So there's this stuff. I'll send you some, Mike, remind me. And then the other thing, more triathlete related, but if you runners, if you haven't tried this stuff, oh my goodness. Now, yes, this is the most expensive of the 3 products. This little can, I think, is like, I don't remember how much this was when I bought it. But this is the only product that I have ever used where nothing chafed. I didn't, and a whole Ironman. I only used it for my last Ironman, and nothing chafed. It was fantastic. The one thing I will caution you about this is when you're spraying it, don't spray it when you're standing on hardwood floor or say like a tile floor. Put a towel down to spray because it makes the floor really, really slippery. I learned the hard way. But so those are your 3 things. You've got Body Glide, you've got Aquaphor, and you've got Tri-Slide. So the thing is, sometimes you never know where you're going to chafe, and once you find out, everybody has certain areas, and it depends on maybe some things you wear. You wear like a tank top. Yeah, the inside under your arm, if it rubs against the t-shirt. Women, the bra strap always is chafing. So it could be up here. It could be the band all the way around the chest. And for your shorts, it could be the seam of your shorts. It could be inside the thighs. It really just depends. Everybody chafes in a different place. And so you'll start to learn where those are and make sure you cover them completely before you start to run. So hopefully that answers your questions. And if you have anything else, please let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Share this with your friends. Keep the questions coming. They're getting really good, and I'm getting super excited. So I will see you next time.